Have you seen the Thrash Goldstone's doing right now?
Oh, dude, what the hell is that guy? Both motors out, bro. Just park the vet. Don't touch it.
Oh, I think the vet is parked, and I think that the Javelin is coming with a big block in it.
So I talked to someone earlier, and they're working on both.
Okay.
Dude, welcome to episode 122 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, let's bring Fast Racing on here. Don't say anything bad. You're on TV.
I was talking about food I made last night.
Oh, nice. Well, guys, if you don't know, this is Brian Actton on the left, Jay Blanchard on the right. The team coming in for Street Race Small Block Power Rider at Drag Week for your 19th time at Drag Week, I think. At least 5th time at Drag Week? 4th.
Or with the Nova.
Yeah.
21 was our first year with the Nova.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
I got him on the math. Yeah. I'm here for you.
I'm straight.
Well, you guys are loading up, getting the car ready, and since you're going to be doing that, I mean, why not come on here and tell us what's going on? Tell us what changes you. I know you were on just a couple weeks ago when we did the 850 panel, but I mean, dude, we got to touch base. You're loading the car up and you're together.
It's leaking fuel everywhere.
Yeah. How would you like that as we were putting in the trailer?
Brian's like, I think there's fluid under my car, and I'm like, sweet, I get to pull a fuel tank out tomorrow.
Dang.
Better than on day one.
Yeah. I have a welder at my shop. Unlike, the last time we fixed it was a CVS pharmacy with a JB putty weld.
Nice. Did you have to go through and get all of that off this time? Is that still on there, correct?
No, we fixed it right after because I actually welded it back up the time before, and we changed, we kind of made like a suspension system of foam underneath it. The last time we had it out, we did some Delrin and foam and whatnot, and it's been good for 3 years.
Yeah, this is the third time though that it's cracked.
This is the third time it's cracked, but this is the longest we've gone between cracks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, does that become like regular maintenance, for folks at home that are watching?
I don't want to weld a gas tank just to weld a gas tank. I mean,
well, right, but dude, how many street miles on that car? 30, 40,000? 18,000
realistically.
Probably.
Wow.
With that fuel cell in it.
Man, that's crazy.
And the aluminum is really thin. It's thin gauge aluminum. So and
it's a 15-gallon cell. So you put 15 gallons in it, 7 pounds per gallon for alcohol-based fuels. It's 105 pounds of fuel in there.
Yeah.
And you're
driving, and they're not made for that.
I don't think so yet.
Yeah. The vibration is the fatigue limits of aluminum are horrible. Really, a plastic cell is almost better, but they just don't look as good.
Right, you can't polish a plastic.
No.
Yeah.
I think this actually cracked at the circuit, Mike.
Wow.
TJ and I noticed a little fuel at Tulsa, and then I cleaned it up, and I didn't see it again, so I just assumed I spilled. Mm-hmm. But I've been smelling it, and we think the foam we put around it actually had it captured,
and the fact that it's been hot as blazes in Michigan, and so it's more likely to evaporate. And then finally we get nights where it's down into the 40s, and Brian's shop is cooler during the day because it gets cold overnight, and so you're I think it's the foam is capturing it, and then I think the evaporative properties have left the building, with the cooler weather, and so now we're seeing it.
That's so interesting. Who would have ever thought you'd be worried about the welds on a aluminum gas tank in a drag and drive car? You just wouldn't think about stuff like that,
Well, ironically, I think about it every single time we go over a big bump.
We probably don't have time to do it tomorrow, but what we probably should do, because we try to build a better mousetrap every time, is we probably should weld angle aluminum around the entire bottom perimeter of it.
Essentially weld the gap up and then lay angle and then weld that up. Yeah.
And have it sitting on 1/8-inch aluminum angle
Yeah.
around the whole. I think that would maybe.
That's a pretty good idea.
I'm not doing that tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow.
I have to pump 10 gallons of fuel out of the cell and find a home for it, and then fill it with water so I don't blow my shop up.
Yeah.
And then drain the water out of it, and then dry it out, and then get the water out of the crack that's there so it doesn't get all hocus pocus in my face. And yeah.
He did tell me he's been laying dimes on the aluminum welding lately.
I was I did weld some aluminum this week, and it looked pretty good. So
nice.
Even though you'll never see it on the bottom. But
yeah.
You'll know it's there.
Yeah.
You got to take those pictures.
In the next 2 days.
I'm telling you. When do you guys roll out? Saturday morning?
Yeah, early.
Yeah. Nice.
If Kyle's watching, he said he's leaving at 5:00. He said maybe we'll see us, and I'm like, I know that guy drives 5 miles an hour faster than I am. And if he's leaving at 5, there's no way that we're catching him.
Catching that dude, man.
Do you guys still run foam in the gas tanks?
Nope, never have.
Okay. That was one of the things that I learned a couple of years ago. It had disintegrated in my fuel cell.
Yeah, I hear more about foam disintegrating than I hear about it doing benefit. That's an air motive cell in the car. They have like a box around the pump, and this, I'm going to run out of talent here a little bit, Brian. And then there's a small like 1/4 inch gap on the bottom, and then there's holes in the back on the sides.
Kind of backfill it. It's got a little bucket that kind of traps fuel under acceleration, but it's an in-tank. It's a design for an in-tank pump. So, it's kind of, it doesn't have the sump hanging.
What do they call that? It's not a sump. What do they call that when it's all right? J-Wire Solutions, who's backstage, they're your expert car and marine and sandrail and drag and drive car wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, race car, drag and drive car, whatever you got. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience better, like the blinker module that is a must for all drag and drive cars. The module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like your stock boring daily driver does. This is what you need when you rewire that car. Or you can just send it to Jay, and he probably puts that in every drag and drive car that he builds.
Well, you'll hear like the term like trap door, but that's actually like where like a door will like swing open and then close under. But like you'll hear like the term bucket is very common, because like in a stock application, the fuel pump will actually sit like in a spring-loaded bucket that's designed, like if there's any variation in the manufacturing process, it's spring-loaded so it buries itself down on the bottom. And then the other thing too is that the way this cell and cell should be set up is the return line goes all the way down, and it's within like 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch of the bottom, but it returns itself back into the bucket.
Yeah.
So it's always trying to continually anything that's not being consumed is refilling that spot. And the sending units in the front, so like on the data log, I'll see fuel level go to nothing, because it's the rush of fuel hits the back wall of the cell, so there's really no risk of us ever like cavitating the pump or picking up an air pocket or anything. But you watch fuel level go down to nothing or 5% or something like that, and I mean, clearly the thing's not out of fuel. We run like right there's the top of that bucket. We run fuel right to the top of that bucket line, which is about 2/3 of the way up. So roughly 10 gallons or thereabouts is what we're running for fuel. So
do y'all track fuel temp?
Funny. You know what I should do tomorrow?
Yeah, we want to.
Well, we've talked about it like a couple of times, and it's wired for it. Imagine that. And then the last time I had it out, I was like, oh, it's all done. And I put a little polish on it, and then we put it back in the car. It's like, oh, damn, I should have put a fuel temp sensor in it. So I'm most likely going to put a bung in it tomorrow. Thank you, Mike, for the reminder.
Well, the only reason I thought about that is because the guys at Rocky Mountain struggled one year with vapor lock stuff, right? Because the fuel was so hot. And I just wondered, with you running the fuel basically, an inch from the pickup, if you would run into some of that with some of the heat. I mean, I don't think we're going to have that struggle next week, but
careful, because we run it quite high, actually, Mike.
Oh, gotcha.
We don't run it low. We run it like a right almost near the top of that bucket.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
And then what we try and do is when we leave the track, we'll try and be full, or we'll be within, say, 50 miles of a E85 stop. And then the goal is to do 100-mile runs. Pulling a trailer, we get roughly 10 to 12 miles per gallon, depending on if it's 50 mile an hour or 70 or 30. And then the plan is that there's never less than 5 gallons in the cell, because that's a piece of data we don't know. Yeah. The fuel's getting hotter, the pump is getting hotter because the fuel is recirculating faster, but temperature is something we don't track. It's one of those things where there's a good side and a bad side to having a lot of data.
Yeah.
It's like, we're setting the car up for EGTs, and we've been working on that process. And I said to Brian, if I put EGTs on this car and they're like 100 degrees hotter than like what we read on the internet that they're supposed to be, I'm like, we're not changing a damn thing. I'm like, this car's been 790s and we haven't heard it. I don't care if it says they're 1580. I'm like, this is exactly where the thing needs to run.
Yeah, and I think that's where me and you get along so well, because like I love that data. I love the knowledge that you can grab from it, but man, that is such a hard process, because now oh my gosh, now we're worried about EGT temps like we weren't before. Right. It wasn't a thing. We were, oh man, why is this one 22 degrees warmer than the other one? So yeah,
if everything was within 22 degrees, I'd be like, we are like dialed. Like there's it takes a lot of work, effort, and energy to get to that point. But
yeah, I got a logic complaint with my wiring guy. So my car has ambient air temperature, but not fuel temp. Like what? What's more useful?
Is it ambient?
Well, ambient air was like a $6 sensor, and it didn't require us to take the fuel cell out.
We need you to move that inside the car. That's what we care about, is the ambient air in the car.
Yeah, hot.
91 outside, 117 inside.
Yeah.
So where's the best location to put the fuel temp sensor at?
I'm going to probably put it near the front of the cell, just from an aesthetics perspective. I don't really care about it during a run, so like if fuel runs away from it and we get some erroneous data during the pass, I know that that's not what's going to be a catastrophic thing. So I'm going to probably run it up near the front. I think, under like normal driving conditions, like you've got it's a uniform mixture of fuel temperature. It's not like there's a chance that it's a little bit warmer in the bucket, but I don't really want to like put a bung like right in the back of the cell. So you open it up and it's like, oh, there's my temp sensor. Like it's, there's a balance between like making a go fast car look good. And like, I like to think that we're like a 9.5 on the performance level, and we're like a 8.2 on the aesthetics. And that's not only Brian's car, but that's just how we try and run our business too, So like, I think there's a lot of people and companies that can wire a car and it works. And I see some stuff and I'm like, I don't know how this has burned to the ground when it comes into my shop, but clearly it drove itself into my shop. And then, there's a lot to be said about making something aesthetically look good as you start to like fill an engine compartment.
Well, and I think once you have a car for a little while and you can go back through some of that stuff, the rear lighting of the old truck is horrendous, right? It's just this big loop. I didn't have time to cut it. We were just trying to get ready. Now it's time to go back and fix that and make it look nice and put connectors in and all that kind of stuff. But you can't do that if you're building a new car every time.
Well, and that's the other thing too. And I think we've been on the show and talked about this before. Brian talked about like right before drag week, right before Roadkill Nights last year, like Brian fired the car up on a Tuesday night and the input shaft was broken. And that was because we broke the ring and pinion like 6 weeks prior to that. And then happenstance, the way it worked out, we got it all back together. And Brian's like, I have all the neutrals because the input shaft was broke. Like he took the trans out in 42 minutes by himself on a hoist.
That's awesome.
It was the same thing that took us 2.5 hours 2 years ago at Bristol
on our back.
On our backs. But the same thing can be said about putting an engine in for the second or third time. The cooling lines are, all the lines are made for the radiator and all the fuel lines are made to length and all that kind of stuff. And that's really like that last 10% stuff that takes 80 to 90% of the time, because you make an AN line and as crazy as this sounds, we make an AN fitting and I'm like, damn, that's like a quarter of an inch too long. Like the AN thing's coming back apart and we're cutting a quarter inch out of the hose.
Yeah.
Like, because
it just quarter inch too short.
Yeah. And then it's taut and it looks even worse, but I mean, if you have like a series of like, in all the stuff we do for map signaling and all that kind of stuff, we do everything with -4 AN. And so like, I mean, you have like 3 or 4 lines and you want them all to like run in parallel with each other or something like that. And it takes an eye for it. And it might take you 25 to 30 minutes to make one -4 line. And, there's 10 of them in the engine compartment, so.
Right. Yeah. That's one thing that is the hardest part about building cars, especially for people, is because when you send that text on a Monday, hey, this week we're working on your car. We're going to, we're going to do some plumbing and we're going to do some wiring. And people are like, oh, cool. Then you hit them at the end of the week with 31 hours worth of billing. They're like, dude, I thought you were doing some wiring and plumbing. You're like, he worked on it all week. They still got 60 hours for the next 2 weeks. Get ready.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But man, I'm telling you, whenever you open that door or the hood and it looks like what the stuff you build looks like, man, it just makes such a difference.
Yeah. And again, I didn't come out here to make this about J-Wire or anything like that. So,
I know.
Yeah, it's just
the whole reason you're on tonight, we were just going to talk about you loading the car up.
And then we got on the fuel cells leaking.
Yeah, right. That let us down.
Here's John Mayer. Like he's just says, just pay it. LOL. Like, so I'm John's first Dragon drive and he finished in 3rd place. Yeah. Kudos to John. He's a customer of mine.
He was leading after day 1.
He led go after day 1 of Drop the Hammer. And then, and frankly, like, I mean, I'm so humbled by the people that I get the opportunity to work for. Brian won it and Roger Wardell, a customer of mine, finished in 2nd and John finished 3rd. I mean, that's
awesome.
I feel like it's a testament and a statement to what we do and how we do it, and just the reputation we've built in the West Michigan area. We're expanding a little bit. We have customers from Ohio and Missouri now and Illinois, but yeah,
that's awesome.
So we have a fuel leak in the car. That's like what we need to get back to.
So now the fuel tank's in the back of your truck, and
no, The fuel tank is still in the car, which is now loaded in my trailer.
Oh my gosh! What?
With we call our drag and drive trailer Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Nice. I like
I
it.
think my wife actually came up with that.
Ann
Came up with that. So Scotia and the Nova are in my trailer, and then tomorrow I get to unload the Nova and put it in my shop, and then unload the fuel out of it and all that kind of stuff. Because I have my son's birthday's tomorrow. There's a Hall of Fame induction thing tomorrow. We have birthday for my son on Friday, and then, like I said, I'm not 100% sure on the barometer of when we're leaving on Saturday morning, but it'll be probably early.
Wow.
So we typically, when we go to a drag and drive, we typically load up a couple days early just based on his schedule.
And the fact we live 45 minutes away from each other.
Yeah. The car was just going to sit for a couple days in his trailer till we left until the fuel leaked. So now
I get to work on it.
Do a little bit of work tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I'm excited about Drag Week, dude. This is going to be crazy. You know, we had Galimi on earlier talking about route stops and the routes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm ready, man. There's going to be. I haven't heard from Randy Seward yet if he's coming or not. If his hips are good enough for him to get in and out of the car like that. But updates on that tomorrow. Yeah, it should be crazy. Saw Steve Trance in here. You know, they're going to be there. I mean, it's going to be some hitters, 850 stuff.
Yeah. The 850 stuff, and then the one that Brian and I were talking about earlier. Just like, have you seen the Thrash Goldstone's doing right now?
Oh, dude, what the hell is that guy thinking? Both motors out, bro. Just park the vet. Don't touch it.
Oh, I think the vet is parked, and I think that the Javelin is coming with a big one in it.
So I talked to someone earlier, and they're working on both.
Okay.
Wow. So they're trying to.
And then Steve just posted that Randy's in. So.
Yep. So that's so cool. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a crazy year. Y'all three, and then is Rick Steinke racing it this year? It's going to be a bunch of
4 or 5 other guys that could show up too that I just don't know. I mean, Alex Carella's always a threat.
Oh, he went like 50 with a 0 off the trailer at Bradenton
just
like
this week or
last. I would say last weekend. Yep. He's like, so much for my one and done or something like that, and I was just like.
There you go.
Wow, the vet short block is. I wasn't going to say that out loud, but
down and still working.
I've heard that the other day. Man, that's crazy. Yeah. The vet was asked to do 104 to the 60 on its second real rip.
Yeah.
Were you at US 131 last weekend?
Yeah, because Midwest Pro Mod Series was there.
I didn't get an invite for dinner.
Dude, I didn't eat dinner, man. I would have invited you, but you'd have seen me for about 12 seconds.
All right.
Jay and I were texting. We just listen, Jay. Every time we text, we just need to do it on the group chat with Brian.
Oh, we include Brian. Okay, then that means I can see everything I say about him.
Yeah.
Right. Well, good point.
Sounds like Brian and I need to have our own group chat because we're just like everything.
Yeah. Are you coming to Drag Week, Eric?
No, I'm not.
I'm going to get my scooter when I forget it.
You better hope you don't leave it up there this time.
Right.
That reminds me, I got to work on my scooter tomorrow.
Yeah.
We swapped the hard tires on my scooter.
We got 2 now, so we're in good shape for the moment.
That's awesome. All right, well, cool. Y'all, I can't wait. I'm ready to hang out.
Yeah.
2 days.
Sunday will be a good day.
Yeah.
You there for the whole week, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna.
And you're driving 20 hours starting Saturday morning, I heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they have Al Armageddon technically is two full days of racing till they have a winner. It's not like qualifying one day and racing the next. It's like 2 full race days. So we'll watch racing, small tire stuff, big tire stuff, all that until somebody gets until there's a winner, and then we'll go to the hotel, edit some stuff, and then Tim and I, as early as we can get up and get in the car, are going to be rolling.
Okay.
So who knows if they race till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, we may just stay up and drive. Who knows? Yeah.
So we will see you sometime Sunday midday.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Probably because we're going to try and stop at Mo Party.
Bowling Green.
There's some friends here from where I live here that are going to be there, and it's like 10 hours into the trip, so I think it'll be a good break at that point to get out of the car and stretch our legs from it. And I've never been, and I don't think Tim's ever been, so it'd be kind of cool to get out and hang out. So
we'll have Cold Cayman Jacks for you.
Let's go. I'm gonna let you guys
come stop by our trailer.
Yeah.
Hey, if I could just take 1 second, Mike, I wanted to share something with your listeners and followers. So something I do after each drag and drive, I meant to talk about this when we were on the 850 race, but I think it's just good to share with everyone, is I make a list after every drag and drive of maintenance or upgrades that my car needs. And I put it just in the notes on my iPhone and with bullet points so I can check them off when they're done. And for this drag week deal, I mean, I probably sent Jay a list that had 15 or 20 items, as simple as what not to forget to pack. My car had to have brakes and oil change and, transmission flush. And it just kind of keeps you on point. And it's something that's easy to make, just on your cell phone. And I just think it really helps us get prepared for, what needs to be done, where we don't forget something to bring along, or just a maintenance item that the car needs. So I meant to talk about that a couple weeks ago, but I'd make one after every drag and drive. The circuit, I have a pre and post circuit note, and they're in there from 4 or 5 years ago.
And I think the other thing that's beneficial about that is you can look back to it, and then it's also like, it's not the day of that you're packing and you're like, what did I forget? Well, it's like at this point you've forgotten it, where if you're like unpacking something, you're like, oh, I better not forget to do this because I'm using this trailer hitch.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, like Brian used the trailer hitch at Six Summer, and then to move Scotia with his truck, and then left the trailer hitch in his truck, and we didn't have a trailer hitch for the Nova when we got to. And then of course the one that I have is also the correct drop, but is rusted to beat the band. Thank you, Michigan Salt. And Brian's like, we ain't running that. He's like, well, you're going to run that up to tech because that's how the trailer's going to get there. I'm not pushing the son of a gun up there.
And then we had a friend of ours.
Yeah, Brandon Miller happened to be within like 10 minutes of Harbor Freight.
But now I have $50 into 2 hitches. And I need one.
Yeah, so now we have like 2 2-inch balls on 6-inch drop hitches.
But that's something
that's a great question for the chat there. How many extra 2-inch balls and 4-inch drop do you have for your truck and trailer? Because that happens to me quite often.
Yeah, I mean, kind of frustrating. And the way my safety chains are set up, I mean, the hitch receiver that we use, it's kind of set up for the length of it and everything else. So we had to put a bunch of twists in it, and it was a big inconvenience for something that if it was just on my checklist, I would have thrown it in the trailer. And so now that's been added. So,
and I think the other thing too is like it's stress, and like the way Brian and I run our program, and the way Stephen Dustin and Randy, I mean, like anybody that's competing for a podium, or they've been on a podium, or they've won in the past, or anything like that, anybody that's doing that, like the undesirable stress that you can make a list and check it off, like that's great, because it's enough stress in and associated around the week that you don't need to be like stressing about forgetting things.
Right.
And I joke, like we get like an hour into the trip and I'm like, well, at this point, if we've forgotten it, we're buying it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it works. And if you forgot a $400 thing that you need, you're buying it. Because you're not turning around and driving 3 hours out of your way to get there later. I mean, it's just
100%.
But that's a really good piece, because you can literally copy and paste it and make a new one, and then just uncheck the stuff and just go back through it again.
Yeah, and it works for any level of a competitor. I don't care if you're a first timer 10-0 guy or a third. It's just it's really helped me with just a routine and just everything else is stressing out timelines, and you just inevitably forget something that's sometimes simple, but sometimes not a simple deal where you got to spend money or make extra trips to stores.
That's awesome. Look at you dropping bombs on people in here. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to kick you guys out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
Days. We'll send Eric a selfie and add him to the group chat.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
I like it.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Yep. See you guys. Thanks.
See ya.
How cool, man. Those guys are awesome. I can't wait to hang out with them too. It's it's gonna be a crazy week next week. All right. Again, thanks to J-Wire Solutions for being part of the program here at Drag Driver Pete. We love Jay, and obviously, J-Wire Solutions, they are awesome for all of your wiring and plumbing needs. Look, we're actually longer than what I thought we would be tonight. I thought we would be done by about an hour. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. I know the show is typically 2, but we got a ton of stuff to do. So thank you so much for being our race car friends. Hit the share button one last time. We got a couple things to go over before we wrap this up, and before we have to show up and then get ready for drag week and more photos. Dude, I don't have the AFCO on here either. What did I do wrong? I must not have moved it over. Interesting. Anyways, thank you so much to our sponsors for making all this possible. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be at Drag Week and Six Summer and Rocky Mountain Race Week, and wouldn't be able to do the circuit and all that kind of stuff. Sick Week, all the events we do, 14 events a year, something like that. Wouldn't be able to do that. The equipment we purchase and all that. So if you're shopping, please hit these guys up when you're doing that. We would appreciate that. Summit Racing, Deech Works, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. For the folks that are watching this, just screenshot that. And next time you go to shop, just look at those guys. And remember, we have discount codes with some of these guys. Just hit us up. Let us know. We'll get you in contact with anybody within this group of sponsors and get you right to the source.